what's up? How you doing? Today what I'm going to be talking about is film school or just majoring in film at your university. So if maybe soon you're going to be picking a college or you're in college right now and thinking about switching your major to film or just anything like that, I'm just going to be talking about some basics that you might want to know before you decide to switch your major or before you decide to go to film school or before you pick a school based off of wanting to major in film. I've got 5 different categories of things that I'm going to be talking about, so let's just get into it. The first thing is picking a university based off of film. Now, if you're already in college and you're thinking about switching your major to film, that's one thing. If you're like dead set on staying at your university that you're currently in, you wouldn't have to worry about this. You can probably just like skip this section. But for anybody who is interested in maybe transferring universities or who hasn't picked a university yet, this is definitely something that is very important. Just as with any major, it's very important to find a school that caters well to your major. Obviously, you want to get the basics down and make sure that you're picking a school that you can afford with its tuition, or that you're getting scholarships to, or that in a region that you're interested in moving to or living in. But besides all the basic stuff that anybody's going to be looking at when they're choosing a college, specifically, I want to talk about the things you'll want to be looking for in a film school. Obviously, there are options out there such as schools in California or in New York that are great for film, but it's not realistic for everybody to go there and not everyone can get in or afford those types of schools. So if you're really trying to stay in state or just near you, it's really important to look at all of the different school options that you have in your state or in your region. There's bound to be at least one good school that has a solid film video program in your state. Now, things you want to be looking with that is you want to see the types of professors that they have. Do they have professors with any sort of name recognition? Do people that graduate from that university go on to accomplish things in the field of film or video? Is their program new and just getting off the ground, or is it well established? Do they have good equipment rooms available for you to use, or is their equipment super limited and it's not very hands-on type of university? Does the school focus more on film history and theory, or is it hands-on and teaches you how to use equipment and give you actual skills to use if you're interested in becoming a filmmaker? Are there courses available at the school that are going to be teaching you the things that you want to know? If you're interested in animated motion graphics, do they have a strong program in motion graphics, or are they more live action film oriented? These are all things that you will need to be looking at if you're really serious about finding the right school for you. And you can usually find this stuff out just researching the universities that you're interested in. So obviously, just searching for universities with strong film programs is something that you're going to want to be doing before you decide what university you want to go to. Or you could try to go the route that is a film school specifically, a more creative type of university. I know a lot of the ones in my region of the South. There's SCAD, there's a couple of those in Georgia, and those are very artsy based, and they're more film schools as opposed to just majoring in film. That's a school that you could actually think of as a film school. Or Full Sail in Florida. Those kind of schools, if you want to try to look at just film studies as opposed to a college that has a bunch of different majors and you're just picking the film major, if that makes any sense. So you can really decide between which route you want to take. Do you want to take the traditional college route and you're just majoring in film, or do you want to go to a school that is artsy and creative and pretty much has a very specific film program? Next category I want to talk about is classes and just the different courses that you're going to have to take. If you're going to a normal university and not a specific film school, you're going to have to take general education classes most likely. So you're still going to be having to take humanities, math, science, English, history. All of those very annoying required classes are going to be required for you, but it will depend on your university how many hours you have to take of each. So that's just like a general thing. Most universities are going to require you to take a normal amount of gen ed classes. But besides the gen eds, if you're in a good film program, you're going to have a lot of different classes covering a lot of different bases that you're going to be required to take within your film major. When you start off as a freshman, you are probably mostly going to be stuck taking classes that are about film history and theory as opposed to classes that are more hands-on and probably what you're actually there to take and what you want to take. You have to get at least 1 semester under your belt usually before you can take classes that you really want to take. Sometimes you can take them the first semester, but it really depends on your university. Classes that everyone at my personal university are required to make if you're a film major are screenwriting, post-production, which is editing, single cam, and multicam. Those are 2 separate classes. A single cam production is like what you would think of a movie or a documentary. That's single cam. Multicam is something like a live production production such as a news broadcast or a sporting broadcast like you would see on ESPN, like a basketball game, cutting from multiple different cameras, that's multicam. You're required to take both of those. And then on top of that, again, the more history-based classes and more theory-based classes that aren't really hands-on, it's just book learning. After we've got those classes out of the way, we can take more specifically tailored classes to what we want. You can take motion graphics if you're interested in animation. You can take post-production 2, screenwriting 2, any of those classes at like an upper divisions. You can take advanced lighting classes, advanced sound and audio classes. Really, once you start to get into your sophomore, junior, and senior years, that's where you're going to be taking the classes that you actually are going to be touching the equipment with and actually starting to make products and make films. Riding the coattails of that, point number 3 is when you go to a good film school or in a good film program, you learn a lot of different aspects about filming. Hopefully you learn the entire filmmaking process. Because at my university we're required to take every single class, that is every single step teaching you how to make a film, it really shows you every single aspect and everything involved in filmmaking. That being said, it teaches you screenwriting, which is actually, of course, writing the script that you would later be filming. It teaches you how to film, lighting and audio and camera work, producing and crewing, and all the different types of things that you will need to know in order to make a film. Then it teaches you post-production, which is editing together your film, showing you step by step the entire process of making a film once you've got all of your base classes done. Because of this, it really allows you to see the steps in the process that you like better and the steps that you don't like so much, which can help you tailor your education to the way you want it once you start taking the more upper level classes. If you absolutely loved writing and screenwriting, you might want to think about a minor in writing, and you'll probably want to be taking more advanced screenwriting and fiction writing classes. If you didn't really like the writing process, but you loved the actual filming process, you really liked working with the lights and the audio and the cameras, you can take advanced lighting classes. You can take single cam 2, multicam 2, advanced audio classes. If you really liked editing, you can take multiple post-production classes and learn different types of editing softwares. And at the end of the day, a sad realization that some people come to is they don't really like any of it and they don't want to be film majors, which will then allow you to decide to switch your major or transfer schools. Before you get into any advanced classes or before you graduate with the degree that you realize you don't want it all anyway. You don't want to go into filming. Point number 4 that I want to talk about is equipment. Like I said earlier, you're really going to want to try to find a school that has a lot of equipment for you to be able to check out and use to get that hands-on experience. But if it's at all possible for you to have some of your own equipment, that's also a really, really good advantage while you're in film school. Having your own camera, microphone, lights, tripods, Steadicam, lenses, all of that kind of stuff is in high demand within your film school. So people are going to be checking that out a lot, and it can get kind of inconvenient to try to check out equipment when so many other people are doing the same thing. I know at my university people have a very hard time checking out equipment, especially with cameras. Camera bodies and camera lenses are in high demand pretty much all the time. You can't do really any filming without a camera, so a lot of times those run out, and that can impede people's abilities to make the best possible films that they want to make because there just isn't enough equipment for everybody. So if your school has enough equipment and it has a good checkout process and system, that's great. If it doesn't have the best or people struggle with it, if you can invest in your own equipment, that is something that will definitely help you in the long run. Another thing that you might want to look into buying yourself, but I understand it is a monthly expense, is an editing software. Most universities that I know of use Premiere Pro or Avid, which are two of the more industry standard editing softwares. Avid more so than Premiere, but Premiere is kind of like getting up there now. A lot more people are using it, and especially a lot of universities, student filmmakers, or just maybe independent filmmakers are using Premiere more. So if you want to buy Adobe Cloud yourself, which is what Premiere is on, you can get a student discount for a year, but I totally understand why people would not want to go that route because it is still expensive and it's a monthly expense. If you are interested in doing that, it will help you because you can edit literally anytime you want, just on your laptop or on your desktop in your apartment or dorm, and you don't have to worry about going out every single time you want to edit a project, going out and trying to find a lab that's open or a computer that's open in a lab and dealing with needing to go to a computer in order to edit anytime you need to edit, as opposed to just having it on your laptop and being able to edit whenever you want at 3 in the morning if you need to, instead of having to go out and find a lab somewhere. So again, these are not things that are required to have going into film school, but they just make life a lot easier, and they can really make your products better if you are having more time to film, as opposed to when you are in a crunch for time because you couldn't get a camera until a few days before your video footage was all due. Not required, but nice. And point number 5, the last thing that I want to touch on, is making the most out of the 4 years, 2 years, however many years you're in college, is making the most that you possibly can out of your time there. This means things such as joining film clubs, entering your films into film festivals, networking with people, whether it's your professors or people you meet at award ceremonies, working on a reel and a resume and making sure you have the best possible reel that you can have. Every single project that you do, you want to do it to the best of your ability because you want it to be something that you can put on your reel and show future employers. And you want to be keeping up with all the projects that you do. You don't want to be that senior who's scrambling at the last second to try to find and collect every single thing they ever did to put together in a reel because they need theirs now, because they're seniors. Crap's about to get real and they're about to go into the real world and try to find a job, and they don't have a whole lot to show for what they did at college because they didn't join any film clubs and make any films. They didn't try as hard as they could have on all of their projects. They just treated it like a grade instead of a future resume piece that could get them a job. Everything you do, you need to be thinking of in terms of, how will this help me get a job after I graduate? It can be super easy in college to just focus on the grades or focus on your social life and just see everything for as it is right in that semester and right in that time frame. But really, you're there to get a job, so everything you need to be doing, you need to be doing in order to try to secure yourself a solid reel and resume that you can show to future employers and get yourself a job. So all the things that I've talked about, hopefully you can keep in mind in order to help you pick a film school and also to help you succeed while you're in school and get a job afterwards. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a like. You can also subscribe to me. I put out new videos every single Friday. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye guys.